What's up, you guys? It's Tuesday here, and I'm back with another video. The last one for the day. Okay, I'm joking. No, but this is the last one for the day. I'm trying to stay as consistent as I can with this thing. And I listened to one video. This is just a sidetrack from what I'm going to talk about, after this. But I listened to one video by Aliko Dangote, who was saying, the thing about business is that it does not like people that start and stop. And I've been in that thing where you start something, you stop something, you start something, you stop something, or you change something. So I'm just trying to build up the consistency and the discipline to actually pull this off. So yeah, as we figure this thing out, please click like and subscribe, especially the like button, because according to the YouTube algorithms, the more likes or the faster the likes, this thing gets shared around and so on. But anyway, let me jump into it. Talking from a macroeconomic spectrum of view of things, today the JSE market again takes a dip. This is something that I spoke about last week, that there's a lot of factors that are being influenced in the JSE market. We can't just isolate one thing that's happening. The one biggest thing that is happening right now that has taken the attention from the market, or maybe that's putting a lot of fear into the market, is this Russia and Ukraine thing. This is something that's been trending. I'm going to share some of these links, or no, I'm going to put some of these screenshots up on the screen. But this Russia-Ukraine thing and the discussions about the impending war or the rumored war that's about to happen, or that's being prevented from happening, this thing is shaking up markets, not only European but also American markets, and also, like we've got here, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. It is influencing and affecting the whole financial market, if I can say. So this war has been a very, very big drive of fear in the marketplace, from what I have observed. I might be wrong, but that's just my observation with what's going on here. And the other thing that I've observed as well, it's the whole change in, let me just say, economic factors such as inflation and the prices, like I mentioned in previous videos, of your fuels and whatnot. These factors as well are influencing the decisions that investors are sort of making with purchasing and buying shares at the moment, because there's all these things that we are trying, first of all, to adjust to in this new year, with all these things that are coming out, like the budgets and the financial reports and whatnot. People are trying to adjust to the changes in the financial sector. So one of the things that has maybe led to a very slow start in the year is one of those things. But yeah, it's important to actually do your own research and come to a conclusion with what's happening. This is just something that I have noticed. But yeah, JSE has been down today, with all across the board in all industries and all share markets. It's really taken a dive. Cryptocurrencies dropped over the weekend. I think it's by 10%, but you'd have to maybe have a look. But I'll post a screenshot again. I usually record these videos and then edit in the screenshots and so on. So the crypto market as well took a dive over the weekend, and it dropped, but it's slowly recovering today. But it did take a dive, almost about 8% loss in value. So a lot of things have been going on. But one of the things, like I've mentioned previously, or I can mention now, is that this is a trend in the market. If you look at the market and what happens over time, in the short period, there's a lot of fluctuations that go on. But over the long period, then you see your graph starts to go, upwards, or you've got an upward, it's not a curve, but you've got a trend line that is, going upwards. But over the short period of time, you see a lot of fluctuations in, share values and so on and so forth. But the point being is that the good thing about holding shares, actually, this is one thing that I can mention maybe. One advantage about holding shares, especially in a time where there's like, it talks about high inflations, almost to about 7% and so on, is the good thing is that when you actually buy shares in companies and own a part of a company, companies always restructure in order to adapt to the business environment. I think that's one advantage that shares hold with all of these things. It's like I would say, let's just take for instance the way that real estate also adapts. When the cost of things starts to increase, real estate can adapt by increasing the price of your rental. In the same way, the whole thing is this. Let me just, as a layman, let me just say this. This inflation thing, the people or the group that loses the most is us. The layman, the normal guy in the world that's just purchasing goods and services. Oh, let me just say this. The consumer, the daily consumer is the one that gets affected the most, because for the daily consumer, if your income basically is, let's just say, your salary or so on, which is hardly ever adjusted to keep up with inflation. And just now your inflation, goes up like 7%, like I'm saying, which maybe like last year, it was, I would say personally, I observed it was like almost like 10, 11%, increase in prices across, goods and services and so on. But the most group that's affected is the consumer, is you and me. And these companies have the ability to readjust their businesses. So you find if, the company wants to make a profit or wants to keep up with inflation, they can raise the price of their goods or their services in order to keep up or in order to protect their profit margin. So that's the safety thing about it. So look, if they maximize on their profits or they maximize on their revenues, that also leads to the company share or the company value to actually increase. And if the company value increases, it also leads to your share price, hopefully as well, increasing. So that's the advantage of holding shares, because when you hold a share over time, the company itself readjusts or tries to readjust in order that they can give out more value, they can get more revenue in and more profit in, and in the long run they try and be more valuable. So that really comes to affect your share by your share actually also increasing in its value as the company itself increases in value. So yeah, as we go through this thing, like I've mentioned, personally looking at the market and what's happening, these are some of the trend lines that just happen. It's ups and it's downs and it's ups and it's downs, but for me personally, it's just to hang in there and wait all these things out as the trend goes upwards over the long term. But I'm also just learning this thing. It's my first time actually going through a bear market, and I'm a beginner, as most people, and trying to learn, trying to see what's happening here. But all this calls for not panicking, but staying level-headed and staying calm, and just hanging in there, watching the market as it goes through its cycle. And that's it for me today, and I'm out.